The part of Greenland that was the most surprising was definitely the tundra, because I always knew Greenland had tundra, but when I first experienced it, it was so squishy, and I didn't expect that at all. And so I would just take a step and it would squish down, and because I knew that the permafrost was always frozen, and I knew that, but this just open plains of tundra with the little plants, and it was just squishy, and it was great. Permafrost is the part of the land that's always frozen. So here it's a few meters underneath the soil, so the tundra's on top of the permafrost. I think there's no trees partly because of the permafrost and partly just because it's so cold in the winter that the trees can't really get enough water and can't really make it. Well, when I went out to the ice cap, and it was a really great experience because it was just a cliff of ice, and there was a little river in front of it, and so it was almost continuous that you hear this really loud crack, and we were probably 50 meters away and we could still hear it. And it's kind of like when you put a cube of ice into the water, only probably 1,000 times louder. It was loud, not so loud that you had to cover your ears, but you kind of had to speak up when you were talking to someone. And there would just be these giant chunks of ice that all of a sudden it would kind of look like they were about to fall off, and then they would just fall off. Probably one every few minutes that would just fall into the water and then just float away. That I was experiencing wasn't really like global warming, as they say, but it happens every summer. The ice cap retreats by actually a pretty large amount, and then in the winter it refreezes. So it was just what happens here every summer. It's not global warming and oceans rising and all that. It was normal. I've always loved the earth, the oceans, the atmosphere, and then this came along and it sounded really interesting, the combination of physics and science. Originally it was the ocean. I grew up in California, so I've always lived near the ocean, and just something about it, just the waves, the whales, just everything, that I've just loved the ocean and always wanted to learn about it. And then it just kind of became science in general that was exciting. I've been to Greenland and I've been to Alaska to see 2 of the different incoherent scatter radars, and they're great places to visit. And when you're working, by visiting these places, it really helps understand what you're doing. That it really puts it all into perspective, that it's a great thing.